Prime Time, I'm Tamanna.
My name is Ayush Elavadi. Let's have a look at the headlines. The CBI makes its sixth arrest in the PNB Fraud probe, while the government opposes the formation of an SIT to look into the scam.
Actor Kamal Haasan enters active politics, launches his political party. It's called the People's Justice Party in Madurai. Arvind Kejriwal joins the launch.
Minutes of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting show that MPC members were concerned about the upside risks to inflation.
Former Deputy Governor H.R. Khan recommends that the Reserve Bank of India undertake an operational risk audit of Indian banks to protect the system against fraud.
Indian equity benchmarks halted a three-day losing streak in a volatile session. TCS and ITC gain.
Reliance Industries expands its media footprint, chooses Eros International to make its third investment in the media space. Eros International stock soars in response.
And technology giant Apple looks to secure a long-term supplies of cobalt as it seeks to ensure adequate supply of the battery mineral. It's been 7 days since the banking system was stunned with the 11,000 crore rupee PNB fraud. Investigative agencies continue to tighten the noose around all Nirav Modi Group companies. Regulators have tightened security measures, and the government is confident that a fair probe will be conducted. Here's a look at the day's top developments. The centre has opposed a PIL in the Supreme Court, seeking an independent probe into the Nirav Modi case. The government has also opposed a plea seeking initiation of deportation proceedings against the runaway billionaire. The government believes the ongoing probe should be allowed to come to a conclusion.
Now, the Enforcement Directorate too continued its search and seizure operations today. The ED conducted searches across 17 locations nationwide, including 4 shell companies in Mumbai in connection with the PNB case. Meanwhile, the opposition seems to be divided over the case. 2 left parties, the CPIM and CPI, seem to be in favor of constituting a joint parliamentary committee to look into the case, an idea that was first proposed by the Congress. The Trinamool Congress, meanwhile, has strongly opposed such a move, saying it would delay the process of unraveling the truth. Now, Charlene D'Souza, who has been tracking all the developments on the CBI front, especially in court today, joins us for more. Charlene, how is the CBI presenting its case so far? What are they saying?
Okay, the Central Bureau of Investigation Special Court said that the 6 people which were arrested on Tuesday night will continue to remain in the remand custody of the CBI till the 5th of March. And the public prosecutor argued that the 2 people that were arrested in the Mehul Choksi case, that is Nitin Shahi and Kapil Khandelwal, who are both employees of the Mehul Choksi group, were part of the modus operandi and had availed facilities of foreign letters of credit and letter of understandings, and will need more time to interrogate the 2 people arrested in this case, as there is a wrongful loss of rupees 4,886 crore. While the defendant's argument was that all the documents have been submitted and the 2 need not be kept in jail for further interrogation. In the Nirav Modi case, however, the public prosecutor argued that Vipul Ambani, who was the president and finance who was in fact the head of President and Finance at Firestar International till November last year, was aware of all the transactions with Punjab National Bank officials, even some of whom are at the head office level. However, the defendant argued that he was not aware of any of these transactions. Now, Kavita Mankikar and Arjun Patil, both from Nirav Modi Group companies, also played a key role in applying for LOUs, and records were found at their office. The public prosecutor argued that the bank has already incurred a loss of rupees 6,000 crore and this amount could go up further, while the stock market has already seen a loss of rupees 49,000 crore so far.
All right, Charlene, thanks so much for that update. Now, staying with this particular case, Nirav Modi's lawyer Vijay Agarwal has moved a request in court stating that the CBI should restore the sealed servers of Firestar International. He says that the CBI can't stop the functioning of the company per se.
Today, 4 accused in the case were produced before the court, 3 private persons, out of which 2 were represented by me. and one of them was a lady. The court, after hearing the arguments from both the sides, have been pleased to remand them to the police custody till 5th March. 5th March they shall be produced again. We have also moved two applications. One application is regarding that whatever seizure CBI has made, a copy of the same is to be given to us. And second application is that two servers of the company of Firestar, one is sealed and one is taken away by CBI, because of which the functioning of the company has stopped. So these servers should be restored, and we do not object to that CBI may have a clone copy of the same, but they cannot seal and stop the functioning of the company.
Now we'll be discussing more on the PNB fraud case up ahead on Primetime Debate. I'm speaking with a very special guest this evening. Former Finance Minister Yashwant Sinha will be joining us to talk about the political and economic impacts of this case and what it means for the entire banking system.
Well, that's a debate you cannot miss. But the Reserve Bank of India needs to undertake an operational risk audit of Indian banks to protect the system against frauds. That's what former Deputy Governor H.R. Khan recommends. In a conversation with Bloomberg Quinn earlier today, he said that the Reserve Bank of India must check if its instructions have been properly followed if it wants to strengthen the banking system against fraud.
One doesn't doubt the robustness of the system, but the peripheral connectivity of the other systems and whether there can be misuse of that, I think there is need for a global surveillance sort of thing, because SWIFT is also subject to surveillance by some of the regulators. And there is a supervisory college which looks into how the system SWIFT is regulated. I think they should also look at how the system, how robust and effective is the SWIFT system. I think that should also be looked at.
Sure. So the other thing that they said as part of yesterday's press release is that they have set up a committee to look at asset classification divergences, provisioning in the credit portfolio of banks and rising instance of fraud. Sir, is this an accounting issue to your mind? Is that why they have set up
I was a bit confused because here the issue was operation risk.
Exactly.
So this committee, but that said, the divergence is a major issue which has been coming for the last 2-3 years because of a variety of reasons. And very important reasons are that perhaps the auditors and RBI are not on the same page, and there need to be some bridge building between the perception of auditing community and the regulator. And there have been some perception that the regulator also has been changing the norms or reinterpreting the norms. I think that perception needs to be removed. I think this is a very welcome step so far as the divergence part is concerned. And you know, Mr. Malegaon is such a person with experience and expertise. He will bring a lot of value and a lot of pragmatic suggestions. I think that's a good step. But I would say they are also possibly looking at the incidence of frauds, which is the other part of the committee. I don't know the full details of the terms of reference, but I would say in the meantime, just like we did asset quality review in main bank, we should do operation risk audit of most banks and give the information to this committee to further strengthen. In a sort of in a mission-like mode, we should do the operation risk audit of all the banks. And a template should be created to see whether RBI instructions have been properly followed, what is the system of follow-up of instructions. There is a committee of the board which looks at internal control and frauds. How effective are those committees? There is a central fraud registry system and fraud reporting system, red flagging of system, whether those systems are effectively functioning. And the IT systems, how they are integrated or not integrated, and what are the controls, including compensatory controls. There are other systems which are not also integrated to CBS. So how those controls are put in place to see that such things don't happen. So I would in sum, I would recommend a quick time-bound operation risk audit of all the banks.
Now, Tamil actor Kamal Haasan has launched his political party named the People's Justice Party in Madurai this evening. It's a meeting in which AAP founder and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal was also present along with Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Haasan has started his political entry by visiting former President APJ Abdul Kalam's birthplace this morning. He then addressed a rally alongside fishermen from Rameshwaram. His foray coincides with Rajnikant's decision to join politics, causing speculation that the two could join forces. But Kamal Haasan has said that Rajnikant's political bid has a hue of saffron.
இது உங்களுக்காக ஆன கட்சி. மக்களுக்காக நான் உங்கள் கருவி, உங்கள் தலைவன் அல்ல. இது தலைவர்கள் நிறைந்த கூட்டம். இந்த மக்கள் கட்சியின் பெயர் கேளுங்கள், அமைதியாக கேளுங்கள், சொல்லுகின்றேன். இந்த கட்சியின் பெயர் மக்கள் நீதி மையம்.
All right, that was the beginning of that event where Kamal Haasan unveiled the name of his party. GC Shekhar, Associate Editor of The Outlook, is now joining us for more on this story. Thank you so much for speaking with us this evening on Primetime. What do you make of what Kamal Haasan has said publicly so far? Because he's kept everyone guessing. What will his party stand for? What kind of politics? Who he could align with? Is there a little more clarity after all of his statements today?
Actually, he's only announced the party's name and unfurled the flag. Beyond that, I don't think he has made any political statement. He's only made that grandiose announcement that I'm only a tool, whereas you are my leaders. That is what he has told the cadres. So we have to wait for him to roll out his agenda to show what his manifesto is. Now he has given the name of Makkal Needhi Mayam. I think this is the first time a political party in Tamil Nadu comes without that Dravidian appendage to it. So I think this is the first time somebody has started a party without trying to lock in Dravidian somewhere. So I think that way it is a new beginning. We have to wait and see because Kamal is whether he's going to align with anyone or whether he's going to have his own journey, because he has now converted his what is his fans association, which used to be a welfare association. Its office bearers have now become the district secretaries of the new parties. So I think if he will roll out, I think there will be an end of evening speech. I think there will be a curtains down speech by Kamal Haasan maybe in an hour later. Incidentally, it was Kejriwal and the former Minister Somnath Bharti who came, not Manish Sisodia. So these were the two people who he had invited on the stage. And then there was a farmers leader, Mr. P.R. Pandian, because Kamal said that his politics will revolve around the villages of Tamil Nadu. He'll adopt a village in each district and make it a model village to show what can be done to farmers, to agriculture, and to rural economy. So I think that is as a symbol to symbolize that he had invited a farm leader to be on the stage.
Right.
As far as the political journey that started today at Abdul Kalam's house, I think Kamal Haasan is trying to trick people by exploiting Abdul Kalam's name all of a sudden, because he was never a great fan of Abdul Kalam as long as he was alive. In fact, he did not even attend his funeral. In fact, when he was asked at Rameshwaram today why he's using Kalam's name suddenly when he didn't even attend his funeral, Kamal Haasan said tongue-in-cheek that it is not in my practice to attend funerals or funeral processions. Immediately, the social media was bursting with old photographs that showed Kamal Haasan paying his last his tributes to various artists like Nagesh, Manorama, Shivaji Ganesan, and Jiminy Ganesan, and proving that he's again being a politically opportunist. So that is to that extent, Kamal's bluff was called today by the social media. So he started it off on the wrong foot. So let us hope he corrects himself as the day goes by.
Right, Mr. Shekhar, you mentioned there was no political announcement per se with this party launch except for, well, the name of the party. But you also mentioned the people that he was sharing the dais with, and two people especially being, Arvind Kejriwal and AAP Tamil Nadu in charge, Somnath Bharti. What do you make of that image from this particular party launch?
See, he had invited Arvind Kejriwal for lunch a couple of months back at his residence because Kamal wanted to make anti-corruption his main plank. political plank. So I think he sought Arvind Kejriwal's involvement and blessing. So that is why when he invited Arvind Kejriwal to inaugurate his party, because Arvind Kejriwal has no political color or political clout in Tamil Nadu. In that way, he is a non-controversial figure as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. He couldn't have invited anybody from the CPM or CPI or any other party, though he made a big show of going and meeting various political leaders from Karunanidhi to Vijay-Kant to Rajnikant and others. So the CPI leader, Nallakkannu and so on. So I think Kamal Haasan, he has already met Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. So to that extent, Kamal has made his political posturing, made all the right political posturing and noises. But inviting Kejriwal means that he wants to show that he's like Kejriwal, he's a fighter. He's who started a party on his own and then captured power in no time. I think he wants to draw inspiration from that. That he is also like Kejriwal, he'll start a party and very soon he'll capture power. So, well, that is the wishful thinking on the part of Kamal Haasan in inviting Kejriwal.
You know, the timing of this launch is also very interesting, Shekhar, coming as it does in the middle of so much political turmoil in Tamil Nadu right now. Where do you see this party going, even in terms of potential allies? Because it's been a very vague message coming from Kamal Haasan so far. He meets Rajnikant and he says, we may join hands, we may not. He's saffron. It's very unclear what he plans to do. But is the timing before 2019 becoming very crucial?
Well, vagueness has always been Kamal Haasan's hallmark. Let's not fight shy of it. He has always been vague, and then when he talks, he tends to ramble. So I think what has happened is Kamal Haasan has positioned himself in such a way that he will cut into the DMK votes because he calls himself a follower of Periyar. He's an atheist, and then he has taken the social justice plank and all that, which is the DMK's plank. And on the other side, he says that I'm against saffron, so I'm anti-BJP, which is a Congress plank. And then now he goes and meets the left leaders, saying that he's going to take up the farmers' cause, which has been their plank also. So I think he's now biting into the political agenda of every party, every opposition party that is opposed to the ADMK and BJP. So I think they will ultimately, what will happen is, since these parties do not want their vote banks to be eroded by Kamal Haasan's new party, they'll accommodate him in a small way by giving him maybe 5 or 6 seats during the elections. I think his alliance will be with mostly the DMK led front, which may consist of the left, the Congress and others. I think that is the only place that Kamal will find himself comfortable. I don't think he will go with Rajnikant. I think Rajnikant is too shrewd. Maybe there may be a post-poll alliance between the two if ever Kamal Haasan wins any seats. But Rajnikant, I am sure, will go on his own. He would want to test his own strength. Even if he doesn't capture power, it doesn't matter. Even if there's a hung assembly, it doesn't matter. Because Rajnikant is looking for the long term. Because initially, I think there is only going to be the Lok Sabha elections, unless there is a midterm poll in Tamil Nadu. So I think for Lok Sabha elections, I don't think either Kamal or Rajini will exert themselves very much. I think they'll play it safe by contesting a few seats.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. G.C. Shekhar, for speaking with us. Clearly, very interesting days in Tamil politics up ahead and a new entrant on the block, Ayush.
Absolutely, Tamanna, and obviously those were live visuals playing alongside in that conversation from Kamal Haasan's party launch. Now, moving on, minutes of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the Reserve Bank of India show that the central bank has kept interest rates on hold as it sought to support a nascent growth recovery. At the February 7th meeting, the MPC voted to keep a repo rate at 6% by a vote of 5-1. RBI Governor Urjit Patel noted that food and fuel inflation have risen and inflation expectations remained elevated. RBI Deputy Governor Veeralacharya said that the prevailing economic conditions may have prompted a pure inflation-targeting central bank to switch its stance from neutral to a withdrawal of accommodation. MPC member Chetan Ghate voted to keep rates on hold, but has opined that adverse supply-side shocks could pose a strong risk to medium-term inflation targets. While 5 committee members voted for a status quo, Michael Patra, Executive Director at the RBI, voted for a 25 basis point hike. Committee member Ravindra Dholakia said that along with the centre's finances, watching state finances is important to understand the extent of fiscal slippage.
Now, the Employees Provident Fund Organization has cut interest rates on deposits to 8.55% for FY18 compared to 8.65% in the previous fiscal. This is the second time in 2 years that EPFO has effected a cut in its interest rates.
The benchmark Nifty 50 index will sport a new look from April 2nd. The National Stock Exchange today announced that Bajaj Finserv, Grasim and Titan will enter the index. On the way out are Ambuja Cements, Aurobindo Pharma and Bosch. Indian equity benchmarks halted a 3-day losing streak and closed higher for only the 4th time this month. TCS, ITC and Reliance Industries were the top gainers, while Sun Pharma, IndusInd Bank and Hindalco were the top losers.
Now, after establishing its leadership in the oil and gas industry and disrupting the telecom market, Mukesh Ambani is now expanding his media empire. Reliance Industries has announced the acquisition of almost 5% stake in Eros International PLC. RIL's media and entertainment arm and Eros will jointly produce and consolidate content across the country.
It's less about the money and more about signaling a partnership. Eros International PLC already has about $140 million on its balance sheet. At the India level, what we're doing is setting up a joint venture company for content consolidation. RIL has signaled its plans to enter media and entertainment in a big way. So tying up with content partners such as Eros is part of their strategy, and it's our absolute privilege to be part of this partnership. So each party will contribute 500 crores each, and we will make films in Hindi, in regional languages. We'll make original content programming for digital, and do all kinds of content creative partnerships.
So what could be RIL's media plan? To talk about this, we're joined now by a media consultant, Kunal Dasgupta. Thank you so much for speaking with us this evening on Primetime. First up, let's talk about RIL's Eros acquisition and put it in perspective with the Balaji stake, 25%, which they took on a few months ago. Where does the push seem to be?
Hi, good evening. Yes, I have been looking at this quite closely because the push seems to be primarily in the online space. If you look at the global media situation right now, we've had one of the largest groups, the Murdoch entity of Fox, basically getting collapsed into Disney, which would have been unthinkable ago. And all this has resulted because of the growth of Netflix and other online players. And the shift towards online is absolutely certain. And in India, too, we are seeing this in a gradual way beginning to happen. The way the IPL rights were fought for between Jio and Facebook and Hotstar, eventually Star took it away, but not without a good fight and a very good price. I would say quite a big price. So it means that the future is going to be in the online space. Traditional media, as far as Reliance is concerned, they already have their fingers in that pie in terms of the TV18, Network 18 group, and etc. And also the group in the south. So as far as that business goes, I don't see so much growth happening in that space. But the growth that is going to happen is in the online space. So these acquisitions have to be looked at from that point of view. Basically, I see the fact that Balaji also has an OTT platform, Alt Balaji, apart from being a producer. Eros has a platform, Eros Now, which is a global platform for movies. And I see consolidation taking place in a big way in all these spaces. So therefore, given that Jio is currently looking to set up a huge online platform as part of its overall mobile play and data play, it makes all the sense in the world for them to go after the global spot for Indian content in terms of being an online media player.
Right, Mr. Dasgupta, and just whilst you were talking about that, and if we'll pull up this graphic as well, when it comes to Reliance's different forays into the media and entertainment space, be it Network 18, that's nearly a 4,000 crore rupee investment, Balaji Telefilms, over 410 crores, Eros Group, 825. So this seems to be, a very diversified and interesting sort of foray. But to understand from you, considering how all of these particular groups actually function and operate, and considering they have a foot in the door with three of the biggest groups out there, how would the synergies work? And I know this is obviously for content on Jio, like you were saying, there's a strong digital push, but how would synergies really work when it comes to content from all of these particular three acquisitions?
Well, you can't force synergies. They all are independent businesses. They already have their business going forward. Currently, the Network 18 group's primary revenues are coming from advertising and distribution and subscription. Balaji's revenues comes primarily from a bit of subscription from online, but mainly from selling products to these companies. And Eros's distribution internationally as well as India for the movies, production, distribution, and all of that. They're all different. So one is in the movie space, one is more in the kind of, I would say, the content production space for TV and online. And the other is actually a distribution channel through existing distribution networks. But online is the one which is going to make all the three come together, because that's where one is going to see all kinds of content coming together, original as well as movies, as well as sporting and news and all of that coming together on the online platform. So I think the biggest synergy, and the proof is if Disney and Fox got together to fight Netflix, the writing is on the wall. So we're going to see more and more of these kind of online companies which are going to come and bring synergies among different content companies with different revenue.
All right, thank you so much for speaking with us, Kunal Dasgupta, there on the bigger picture with the RIL's fresh media acquisition. Moving on to some national stories, Congress President Rahul Gandhi has hit out at Prime Minister Modi over his silence on the PNB fraud and Rafale deal. Rahul Gandhi, who was on a two-day visit to Meghalaya ahead of assembly elections, asked Prime Minister Modi to speak about the PNB scam.
We've already seen Nirav Modi, we've seen a Rotomac, we've seen a Malia, they're coming. And this is what the Congress party has been saying for a very long time. Thousands of crores of rupees are being spent by the BJP. They are throwing money over here. Where is that money coming from? It is coming from the likes of Mr. Nirav Modi, the likes of Mr. Malia and others.
Well, OPEC General Secretary has said that OPEC and Russia are going to deepen production cuts even further than the pledged 1.8 million barrels a day. Bloomberg sources say that this will finally rebalance the global market in the second or third quarter of 2018. The Joint Technical Committee of OPEC expects only Libya and Nigeria to keep output at January levels, while other countries are set to comply with the agreed cuts. Brent crude is trading above $65 per barrel as we speak.
Apple is in talks to buy long-term supplies of cobalt directly from miners for the first time. According to Bloomberg reports, the move seeks to ensure that Apple will have enough of the key battery ingredient. This comes at a time when the electric vehicles boom is expected to fuel a shortage of cobalt. Sources indicate that Apple is eyeing contracts to secure several thousand metric tons of cobalt a year for 5 years or longer. Apple, however, has declined to comment on the issue.
That's right, Tamanna. And for more on that Apple Cobalt story, stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint. But in big news from the world of sport and, of course, from the world of business, the buying and selling of football players is making headlines for astronomical amounts that are being paid. Ever wondered what Lionel Messi would be sold for? Well, you'll probably never find out. FC Barcelona president Josep Bartomeu says that they will not sell their star player at any cost, although he has a €700 million release clause in his contract. He further states that the buyout clause doesn't matter, as the 5-time Ballon d'Or award winner wants to stay with the same club.
No, we don't want to sell Leo Messi for
not even if it's secured the future of the club for decades to come.
No, of course not. Leo Messi, we are a club that we want to have good football. You know, we like to practice this unique way of football that we do and we play. And Leo Messi is our key player. But the more important is that Leo Messi doesn't want to leave Barcelona. That's the more important. He likes the city, his club. He came from Argentina when he was 12 years old, but the important is you can have as many buying clauses as possible, but if a player doesn't want to leave, like Leo Messi, he'll stay forever.
So, Tamanna, what's happening on Primetime Debate?
Well, very interesting conversation coming right up. I'm going to be speaking with Yashwant Sinha, former finance minister, and the key question really, Ayush, is where does the buck stop with the PNB fraud case? There's finger pointing all over the place. It seems it's nobody's fault, but what does it say about the larger system politically and impact for the banking sector? That conversation coming right up. To tune in.